Snow is falling all around. Children playing, having fun. It's a season. No one understands it. Merry Christmas, everyone. Snow is falling all around. Children playing, having fun. It's a season. Okay, so in this live we are gonna talk about what I learned recently. So there, you got, yeah, we got this little piece of note that we are gonna talk about. And there I got more. Yesterday I had like a couple of those good ideas. And we are gonna go through all of them. Okay, there's quite a few of them here. So choices, areas of interest, yes. So how it goes, like you see, if you're like making some kind of, you know, some kind of like whether choices define what you do or they don't define what you do, like what you have. I think there's like a plan for you, and the topic of our discussion is whether you have like in life there is plan or your choices like makes the difference or it's all predefined. There's like two these possibilities, and in in my opinion, the choices matter, but the plan is still is. However, the plan is dynamic. It's like, you know, like PHP page. It's not HTML page, it's PHP page. Like the dynamic content. Like I think there's like multiple timelines and basically, if you make about 10 choices in certain direction, you get transferred to different alternative timeline. But there's a plan for each of those timelines. And I think that way choices matter, but you still getting like, yes, choices matter. Like, but plan is, but it's dynamic plan. And I think choices, it's more like how do you define a choice? Choice is like areas of interest here means because one choice cannot impact like the timeline very greatly. Like we usually see in movies and pop culture, we usually see how their main heroes done like huge choice and they kind of impact their entire the rest of the movie. But in our life, I'm convinced it's not like that. It's like areas of interest. You have like area of interest and you constantly like devoting time to it. And the more time you devoted to that area, the more powerful it becomes and impacts your timeline. So I think that's kind of the dynamic plan. Also, another piece of thought, like what does it mean to be a person of your time? And I think this question is kind of really was interesting because on session I heard how someone from history was a person of its time. And in my opinion, in our time, it means basically to watch like TV, YouTube, and computer instead of reading books. I think this is kind of the most like simple explanation of what it means to be a person of your time. Like you can't jump ahead in everything. You're basically doing what you're predefined to do. So that was this. Also, we got a bunch of here of questions. So understanding of choice, and I think we got this covered. The power of choice and the understanding of choice itself. Like choice, it's more areas of interest. When there's dozens of choices, they more likely make a difference on your timeline. than if it's like one choice. So you basically, the most beneficiary way to use that is to just keep doing what you've done in the past, but good deeds that you've done. Like look through them, what you've been doing, and just continue some of them, because like starting new anything, it's like less likely impact the timeline and you're less likely stick to it. So that's what means the understanding of choice. Yeah, the future is your present. It's another piece of thing. And so what you got right now, same thing you'll have in the future. So choice, yeah, the future is your present. So that kind of it. Like the present, you're impacting the present, and basically, if you want to imagine the future, you should look at your present. It's most likely it will be similar to that. Maybe some way a little bit better or a little bit worse. So that we got this thing covered. And recall and recoil. Like it has those two words, they have same root, like recoil system, something that gives feedback. And when you recall, like remember, reminiscing something, in these two words they have same root, so that means they are highly related. Okay, and there's another, like now it's kind of more of what I wrote here, like more of statement that I'm still gonna be a teacher. Yeah. So that is why I need to kind of go over the program I've already studied and kind of recall those objects and themes and topics and kind of keep them in mind to be able to later retell those stories and therefore be a teacher. Another one, another thing, like a language isn't impossible. So that means language learning. A language isn't that impossible. And what it means, what does not mean. So that it isn't this insight I got when I heard that Polyglot Patrol, like this course. I've been listening to it many times, and here I've been re-listening one episode of Deutsch, this Deutsch Sprechen, and I figure out that learning language isn't that impossible, like in pre-intermediate level. Like you're gaining some of them, words in these key phrases, and you kind of train them. And it obviously takes a couple of years, but after that, it's kind of somewhat possible to actually learn something and actually be able to tell anything in that language. And yeah, I think this was those notes. So let's summarize. We talked about learning language isn't impossible. Like I'm still gonna be a teacher that I need to repeat what I read. Recall and recoil, same root words here. So the future, in some ways, the future is your present. It's about that you're likely how future will be a lot like your present. And the power of choice, understanding of choice. Yes, this is like something from the past. You grab something from the past and you just continue doing doings in the same direction. And that way you're choosing. This is the right understanding of choice, not single timed choice, but this series of choices of actions. What does it mean to be a person of your time? Here is about watching different videos, not reading as much, Yeah, choices, areas of interest. That's the same topic about choice. So it's like areas of interest on what you worked that would likely impact your future. Okay, so I think this was it for this live, for this meet session, and I'm telling you goodbye, ciao, and see you in the next episode. Ciao.